And we are live back for more anime weekend here at Geek Variants. Very excited to talk about all things Demon Slayer. Came on actually a minute or so early, which is, significantly better than I normally do. So, without further ado, let's roll those opening credits. All right, guys, Brent here back with Grants to cover all things Marvel, DC, Lord of the Rings, anime, gaming, Star Wars, and more. In today's live stream, we'll be covering Demon Slayer, episode 3 of season 4, otherwise known as the Hashira training arc. I will be without Will today as he is out busy, so it'll be just me entertaining all of you fabulous folks. The episode should be dropping here in the next 15 minutes or so. And as per usual, if you're someone who's tuning in after the fact, we don't show the episode on screen. It's against so many laws, rules, and regulations. We just don't do it. We play it off screen. We watch along at the very end. If you're someone who's watching the post recap, you can go ahead and skip pretty much close to the end, probably the last 10, 15 minutes, usually, if we're not doing a live anime chat afterwards. That way you can cover just the whole episode recap that way, or just check out our episode recap that I'll do after this one. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get everything set up. Let's pull up all of our sites, make sure we are ready to rock and to roll. That way, when the episode drops, don't have to worry about doing too much extra. Just have to hit refresh, and we'll be good to go. Last weekend, it was a crazy good time with you guys. Had a blast talking about all things anime, talking about all things geek. Covered a lot of shows, covered a lot of video games, talked a little about world culture, talked a lot about just anime in general. Some of the stuff, whether it would be like how we got started in anime, some of our favorite shows we watched, some of the great shows we have missed out on, which at some point we will probably circle back and cover some of those in some form or fashion. Really looking forward to that, as well as talking about potential stuff we could be, giving away once we get to our 1,000 subscriber mark. So, as always, be sure to hit that lovely red subscribe button if you want to be entered into our giveaway. We'll have more details after we hit the 900 subscriber mark for what our 1,000 subscriber giveaway will be. We did it big for 100, we did it big for 500. Let's do it even bigger for 1,000. And again, all thanks to you guys are able to get those illustrious marks. Thank you so much for that. Very excited to see what we have coming up. It's been already a crazy anime weekend thus far. We had the My Hero Academia, which we covered on one of our previous things we did a live stream pertaining to that one. Aoyama was definitely someone who we focused primarily on for that episode. We talked a lot about him. We talked a lot about Aizawa and how Aizawa was willing to endure the brunt of Aoyama's disdain for what was going on, his fear of the future, the uncertainty of what would happen with him should All For One's plan ultimately come to fruition. And Aizawa was willing to do everything he can, whether it be to step into the darkness or to try and help Aoyama come into the light, so to speak, to ensure that this kid's life was in fact saved. Because to be fair and to be blunt, there are so many times in animes where the darkness or the light in certain characters' hearts are never really addressed. Aoyama, I feel like, got an absolutely unfair shake of things. He was someone who was born quirkless in a world where if you do not have a quirk, you are a nobody, and that's the worst way to be. Aoyama suffered through so many things in that world to try and ensure that he was becoming a somebody. His parents then ultimately stepped in and said, "Hey, we're going to fix this. We're going to address this. We're going to make sure that things are fixed, things are done correctly." Unfortunately, in trying to make the proper steps to get Aoyama his quirk, they aligned with the worst possible individual in the history of the My Hero verse, Wall for One himself. And because of their, I'm going to say, bad due diligence or just really not understanding who ultimately they were getting involved with, they ended up in a terrible, terrible situation that impacted their family for at least a decade now at this moment in time. We didn't say specifically when Aoyama got his power. I'm assuming they gave it to him when he was very, very young. So at least had some time to train, to adjust, and then, get in through the class of UA the only way that he absolutely knew how. And once in, they thought it was going to be easy peasy. But that's when All for One came and said, hey, you did the deal with the devil. Now the devil's come for his due and his recompense. And ultimately tried to ensure that he would get the quirks back and all of the goodies along with it that could possibly or even potentially happen for so many number of reasons. He was definitely someone that um, you don't make deals with, you don't make bargains with, you don't go through all of these steps ensuring, your child's future is in the hands for all for one. It's the worst possible condition, it's the worst possible scenario you could have had anyone be involved in. And then Aoyama now had to betray his classmates, put everyone in terrible situations, and then we had to pull him out, try and fix him, and Aizawa was going to have to do all of the legwork, arm work, everything unnecessarily unnecessary in most situations because most people don't get a quirk when they weren't originally given one to begin with at birth. So now that he has to go ahead and try and force this 14-year-old 15-year-old to be a double agent spy for them against the most terrifying man in that universe, things are a little wild. Then we followed that up, not 2, but I think 3 hours later with Kaiju number 8. I had a great time reviewing that one with you guys. Did not do a live stream for that one, kept that one fairly simple. I would have been horrible to watch on live stream. I was dead. My eyes were heavy. I was worn out. I've been very, very boring to watch, so decided not to live stream that one. So just kind of left that one at what it was. The episode was fantastic. It really covered a lot of the differences in kaiju power levels. We had, kaiju number 8 is Kafka. He is our main character. He is our main hero. But that also means that as far as these rank kaiju go, there have been 8 thus far like him. Doesn't make him special, doesn't make him unique. Makes you curious what happened though to the other 7. And then on top of that, Kaiju number 9 just up and rolls up right afterwards and is an absolute menace to society. Very cold, very calculating, using people for experimentation because that seems to be a very, very common anime trope. Is that most villains are really, really into human experimentation or monster experimentation in some cases. In some cases, it's both at the same time. There's a couple animes that cover that in its entirety, but having a someone who's got that level of physical power, that level of physical healing, monster manipulation, the fact that you can reattach organs to these kaiju to make them reproduce and to make them continue to grow and be stronger and evolve and adapt. That's wild. That's something that I didn't think they were going to cover in its entirety. And then for the fact that he's not only making them reproduce, he's trying to push them further along the evolutionary scale, and he's able to resurrect certain kaiju in certain instances to try and make them stronger, to make them tougher, to make them more durable, to make them be able to power through certain situations that otherwise they wouldn't be able to. So that they give the Japanese Defense Force an absolute run for their money in the worst possible scenario. It's been a wild, wild ride for that show. I don't think the fanfare is nearly as much therefore as it was in the beginning. I think the animation style that was chosen alienated a couple people because you can see the book here if the glare is not terrible. The style is different. It's more unique. When you go through, everything's colorless, so don't really have any good way of showing here. I need to find like a color photo, truth be told. But the characters were more crisp, the things were more defined. Certain characters seem more boxy than what you would initially believe them to be. And so the fact that that is happening in so many regards can detract from the show. I think the music has been an absolute standout for it. I think the storytelling has been exactly what the manga was, which is very, very enjoyable to see. There weren't a lot of creative liberties, if any major ones I've seen thus far. But at the same moment in time, it still hasn't measured up to what the diehard fans were expecting. I think that's Usually the diehard fans are the ones who got the YouTube channels where they're just shouting out from the rooftops what their opinion is, and that has kind of made people's opinions waver who are more just taking a look at it or trying to get their first initial look at it. And it's like, I'm not going to sit here and say, hey, we don't do that, but at the same time, I don't discourage people from enjoying things. I have enjoyed the show very much so. I've had a fantastic time getting to see what is being brought to the screen. I've had a good time watching all the episodes. Has it lived up to where it was hyped up to be as something that would potentially rival one of the big three shows or to rival even, Solo Leveling? No, it for me it hasn't, but for other people it could have. That's one of the joys about being geeks. There are so many different things that we can all enjoy, so many different aspects of things we like to cover. There's such a broad variety for the term, even just geek, that it's hard for people to necessarily lock into a certain spot and be like, this is my niche. This is where I'm at. This is where I follow. This is what I'm about. And I think Kaiju number 8 has been a good showing, but it hasn't been good enough to dethrone all the stuff that everyone said it was going to do. They said it was going to just do record breaking numbers. It was going to take over. It was going to just dominate. The viewership has been good. I believe it's top 5 right now. But I think even new shows like Windbreaker have had a higher return on investment for the fact that they came in and put in a solid first season and they weren't expected to, blow people away in any regards for the quality of that show itself, but then just have done exactly that. I think Hell's Paradise kind of fell into the same trap where people were like, yeah, I wasn't expecting much from this. Then they turn on an episode of it, and next thing you know, wow, Hell's Paradise, this is an amazing show. What the heck? I can't believe I almost missed this. I know for a fact I missed it. I was several months late to finding it. Found it because I was just scrolling through Crunchyroll, didn't have anything else really to watch at the time. Figured, hey, I'll pop this on for a spell, see what we got. Turned out to be a fantastic show. Really enjoyed everything throughout. Didn't have anything to complain about at all. And, watched both the English version and both the sub version just to see the differences. Personally, for me, that one I find better with subs as opposed to English, but no one did a bad job, in my opinion. There's nothing that was a detractor from it or that would ultimately take away from the quality that most people would come to expect from certain shows at certain times. I think it did a very, very good job. Right now, we're about 3 minutes out if Demon Slayer is going to be on time. Got everything mostly pulled up. Crunchyroll will be our usual for this one. Hulu, for whatever reason, at least in the United States, doesn't have the coverage on it. So be excited to see how that goes. We'll have episode breakdown once we get the episode done. While the episode's on, obviously, send me a chat. We'll talk about the show, things you liked, things you didn't like, questions about animes, things about Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, anime, gaming, any of that good stuff. Later today, I would love to be able to do another live stream with you guys, but this time will be YouTube exclusive. Continuing on with our Fallout series that you guys have actually been very, very active in, and I'm very, very grateful and appreciative of that. It's been great to be able to have people come in chat who have experience playing this game that I just don't, and telling me, hey, do this, hey, do that, think about this perk is really useful for this is really helpful for that, and been able to see me fail in so many ways. I've had a lot of people be like, hey, why are you only doing hard difficulty, why aren't you doing survivor? Look, guys, I'm an adequate gamer. When I game, I try and game for stuff I enjoy. If you guys want to see me suffer on survivor mode, that's something we can discuss once I finish my first playthrough of this game, so I kind of know what to expect, what perks are best for my character, and how to kind of like build out in that universe. But first things first, we have to get through this, this series for Fallout and get at least the main story mode done before any new games come on out that may, try and take precedent. But as of now, I don't see anything that's on the horizon where I'm gonna be like, I feel like this is a perfect thing to stream. I do love NCAA football. I'm very excited that game's coming back. Does that fit within our wheelhouse? No, it doesn't. It's not anything that's Marvel. It's not anime. It's anime. It's not DC. It's not, it falls in the category of gaming, but it falls into sports gaming, which sports gaming and anime and Marvel and DC, yeah, sure, you can intersect and be good and popular in all things. But will it be something that necessarily we need for this channel? I don't personally believe so. And if I had to have that conversation, like with you, the geeks, to have to like try and explain why it would fit, it just doesn't fit. When you know deep down, you just know, and that's the easiest way of understanding where things are going to be at. Now I am still hitting that refresh button, waiting here a little bit longer. Then we will have our full on episode for Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba, our Hashira training arc, as I am currently a Hashira in training, trying to get re-familiar with this universe. I've read everything in the manga, but at the same time, like I haven't necessarily. It's been a long time since I've read everything. I know how things ultimately play out. I don't know what liberties the anime is going to take versus what the manga put out as the material. The episode has officially dropped, and it looks like it's going to be about Tanjiro rejoining the group. Episode 3 is up. It's up and live on Crunchyroll. That way, you guys, the viewers, can follow along with us, and we can enjoy all the amazing content together. Let's get started. Great to see Tengen back in action. And I will say Tengen is easily my favorite Hashira. It's not even close most times. I think Guillaume is also cool, but also Guillaume is also the strongest. So saying that the strongest character is your favorite character isn't always necessarily the move. But also, it's insane to think about like how many scars like these kids have. They're like 14, 15, battling demons. Half of them are jacked beyond belief, but they always have scars like all the way across their body, and you're like, that is absurd to see. Turn the episode volume up. The episode is up on Crunchyroll. We have it off screen. Leave your thoughts in chat, and we'll discuss them as the episode is going on. Right now, I am almost 2 minutes into it, so I'm still watching the opening. I always like watching the opening just in case they change something episode to episode. Fully recovered Tanjiro joins the Hashira training, which means Zenitsu and Inosuke have been doing this already. Yome, I would assume, is also well. Like Yome, the guy uses a shotgun. Yep, Tengen. Tengen's harsh as hell. I do love like he lost a die and he still found a way to make that flashy. Tanjiro's like, no, get to work. If you can call this well, flicks his own missing eyeball. Okay, that's great. Oh, Tanjiro, so optimistic. Because Tengen is going to try and break this man. but he's probably going to outshine more than half of these recruits easily. There's no way he's not. Yep. Everyone's like, "What the heck?" And Tanjiro's just like, "Yep, this is another day in the life." He's so happy and go lucky that everyone else is just like, "What is this crap?" Ugh. Tanjiro is destroying these kids. Mm. And of course, Tengen brought his wife back. Mm. Tanjiro's getting all the compliments. It's terrifying. What a good time so far for Tanjiro. Everyone else, not so much. Lord Tengen is destroying these kids. Okay, so they still got night patrols going on. They should be definitely ready for everything going on. Tengen, don't tell me you're having a moody moment too. You haven't been seeing any demons and you're going to be complaining. I don't ever want to see one. Could be that guy. Because it just means Akaza and all of them will be up shortly. And things are going to get really, really interesting. Oh, yep, his friend's dead. Is it going to be crystallized or Akaza? Because based on the fog, I'm going to go with the crystallized one. And that's the last one you want to see. They got me. They got me. And now you've summoned them by accident. It's like you don't speak of, evil things because then evil things start popping up. Mm-mm. Don't talk about it. And for those jumping in, I have the episode off screen. Talk about it there. Oh yeah, that's a casa, I believe. Isn't he? Isn't he the fourth or is he third? I get their ranks mixed up from time to time. Tanjiro has the literal biggest kid there, and he's just running ahead of everybody. Tanjiro is like intelligent version of Goku, and he's training after he's got him up there. Where is Zenitsu and Inosuke though? That's where I'm. Where's everybody else at? Terrifying. And all of them are cumulatively crapping their pants. I don't know why they're bothering having these guys train though. It's like watching them go through football 2 days. Thinking, just like, really? You guys are talking all this crap. I will say, I want to get one of these Tengen figures with the diamond eye. I think this is very good look for him. Tanjiro takes off last and will probably finish first. Nope, here's Gio. He's back. Is Gio beating the crap out of him on his eating contest? Which one of them is going to cave first? I mean, I don't have to if I win. Oops, no problem. Gio is making it easy for him. Gio partly wants to help, but he wants to do it on his terms. And the guy next to him, like when like you have like a huge human being walk in and sit next to you, and they just start devouring food, and you're just, is this normal? Is this how they just live life every day? It's wild. Mm, mm. Hashira is bored with their new hires. He summoned him. All right. Because they just straight up vanished in front of everybody. There's definitely a demon hideout. You guys don't know about it. There you go. Hashira is ready to do everything it needs to get done. Oh yeah, they're very aware that there's a straight up war ready to come around the corner. They're kind of prepping the fans who haven't read it to know what happens. Where to get Hashira fights? I am so in. It's gonna taste terrible. There's no way. It's not going to. Anything that's super good for your health never tastes good. Oh, never mind. Perfectly good. Mm-mm. That boar kid. Yeah, that's excellent way of describing it. The entertainment arc was so amazing, though. Oh, that was amazing. Still think season two was the best. Mm. The second one to get the job done. As much as he's a flashy show off, he genuinely cares about the core and what's best for them. No, good job, Tengen. Tengen's nuts. So we're basically getting Hashira showdowns for the rest of this arc. Tengen has got moves still. Like, yeah, you don't even see him on camera. He's just bonking everybody out. He's probably been spending all this time training up in his free time. You would think someone like him, though, would have had a smell that's particularly him. Yeah, Tengen's botting everybody. I think Tengen's just trying to drive out the fear from everybody. Yeah, you need to face it entirely differently. If he's able to at least get everyone somewhat congregated, things will be better. Yeah, he just one-handed did all this. This is nice. Everyone's still is terrified of what's going on, except for Tanjiro, who's too brave to stop being brave. Tengen is having a field day with this. And because Tanjiro is doing so well, he's inspiring the rest of his classmates. You have to inspire everyone to lead from the front, but it's still Tengen, so it's like we'll see how it goes. He's one of the weaker Hashira, but weakest of the strong is still strong. It's like calling an NFL athlete terrible. You're still in the NFL. And they're cowards again. There you go, everybody. It's like they're cowardly but brave at the same time right now. Starting to love it. And Tengen's like, in one day, there's been a whole turnaround for the morale of this group. And the only thing they changed was they added Tanjiro. Only change. But where's the other two idiots? I want to see what the other two idiots are doing. Tengen being serious. Color me shocked. Now, are we gonna see the other Hashira fight? Because I would love to see him and him fight on screen. Just gonna be that guy. Iron sharpens iron. If you send the best against the best, it'll work. Everything's bright and optimistic now, which means in 2 episodes something heinous will probably happen. Next layer of training for this episode or next episode. Oh, he's beating the crap out of everybody. Yeah, you don't want to mess with Moichiro. 'Cause he's the youngest Hashira in history for a reason. He's helping how he sees best, but at the same time, kindness is not his main strength. A great episode. Nothing exciting for next week's episode. No early premiere. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap this one on up for that regard. I'll open up chat. Anyone have any thoughts on the episode as you finish up? I'll leave it up. On the episode. If I could type, that'd be fantastic. Boom. Episode 3 of season 4. Gotta say, personally, for me, this was probably one of the strongest episodes. Episode 1 is obviously going to get the praise and the love, excuse me, that it deserves because of how high quality animation was. But they took most of their scenes from the movie. And if you're taking movie quality and you're comparing it to show quality, movies almost always going to be a little bit better than the actual quality of the TV show. Episode 2, if you're a huge Gyu fan, that was entirely for you. That was letting you know his backstory, let him know what he's been through, let him know his struggles, let him know his perseverances, things he's trying to work through, because all these Hashiras come broken and bandaged. None of them had a what you would call a seamless life or even a relatively good life. They came to this life because Muzan made their world a living hell. And now, because of Tanjiro, they have hope. And that's what this entire episode was representing and what it was symbolizing. Tanjiro is the only hope for the Hashira Training Corps to survive. As much as he's not my favorite character in anime, he's still a very good character. He brings hope to a lot of hopeless situations. His simplicity works for him. His simplicity makes people around him accept him. He's not trying to put on a facade of I'm this. He's not trying to pretend to be that. Tanjiro is Tanjiro. It's not like Inosuke, where as much as I love Inosuke, He's got basically two brain cells rolling around inside of his body, and the only thing he knows how to do is fight. If you need him for anything else other than fighting, you're kind of screwed. Zenitsu, unless he's unconscious, completely useless. You'll either be crying or hitting on a woman somewhere when you need him to be focused, dialed into the mission. And the last thing I need if I'm trying to train to be a Hashira is worrying about some blonde kid trying to hit on my sister. So sorry, Zenitsu, not a huge fan of you as well. But Tanjiro, simple, heroic, trying to do the right thing for his family. And people resonate with that. People believe in him and the fact that he's worked so hard to attain these level of skills as fast as he has and to push himself as hard as he can for everybody and for everything has inspired those around him to be like, look, I can't be him, but if I can help him and support him any way I can, I'm going to do it. And now that he's finished helping Tengen's squad, basically, so to speak, I don't know how else you would really describe them. Tengen's group, his core, now come together and start rallying around the fact that they have a belief that, hey, I can't take out Tengen, I can't take out Tanjiro. But as long as I'm just strong enough that I'm not a burn on them, this mission may go off without a hitch. And that's something that we can all really root for here because the Hashira training arc is basically our filler arc. This arc, everyone is safe. Everyone's good that we know of. Once we get to the Infinity Castle arc, things are subject to change. And I'm going to be interested to see if they do any major deviations from the manga on over to what the show is going to do. So right now they have done some minor changes as things have gone along, but nothing that's going to impact overall the quality or anything that's going to impact the story. I think they're better off for that in this moment in time. So to just kind of bring this episode back into a recap, seems like chat's relatively quiet today, which, hey, Sunday weekend, Memorial Day weekend, understand in the US for those of us. So thank you again to all those who have served in any capacity whatsoever. Thank you so much. This episode was just symbolizing that Tengen's heart and his soul and everything he believed in 100% directly is still with the core. He can't forgive himself for having to retire. But at the end of the day, having one arm and one eye trying to fight upper rank demons when at the time they were, near upper rank, I want to say 7 or 8. Yeah, not really the greatest strategy overall. He's a fantastic Hashira. He's a great character, but to be a suicide mission at best. So he needs to sit down, rest up, relax, be uninvolved, and just do the best he can to make sure the next core and the next wave of people are able to carry on his fire, his passion, his will, his desire to succeed and make those things work out. And that is something that Tanjiro right now is embodying. And that's why, Tengen's wives were straight up just like, hey, thank you so much for everything you've done. You've given him hope. Please just bring the mission on home. Let's get this mission done. We can all move on, be happier in that regard. That being said, I don't really have too much else for you guys. Be sure to hit that lovely red subscribe button. If you are new to the channel, really enjoyed the content. If not, follow on Twitch. Always greatly appreciated. Later on today, we'll have a live stream on the YouTube Fallout 4. I believe we are on episode, let me look it up just so I give you an accurate mark of where we're at with things on the episode. We are going to be going into episode 9 of that one. A lot of good content for you. Usually play for about 2-3 hours, talk with the community, talk about all things that I'm terrible at because I'm bad at this game. But hey, first time player, got to learn somewhere. Be sure to hit the lovely red subscribe button, hit that follow button. I'll see you guys there for all things geek. I'm Brent for Geek Variants, where we cover all things Marvel, DC, Lord of the Rings, anime, gaming, Star Wars, and more. And I'll see you guys in the next one.